that task to drive him. Pulled out onto the half-lane road so the convoy can go. We had about 20 miles before we got to the main highway going to Daharan. I had to pass all the trucks plus the oncoming traffic, get in front to lead convoy to its location. Anyway, in that episode, got ran off the road by another truck, scared really badly. Got yelled at for about 10 minutes by the platoon leader driving. Never had any problem doing dangerous things before, but that scared me, and I had a lot of problems. My reaction when I got back from the Daharan, my platoon sergeant told him not to drive on Capline Road. My jobs ended up AP kitchen police, basically helping cooks, train duty, guard duty. It was better than driving on that road at night. Got back from Saudi Arabia, went back to Fort Lewis. Because my unit was closing down when I left, I was put in another unit doing the same job I did before. Got married November 91. My ex-wife now went crazy, I guess, for it, with love at the time. Spent about 8 hours a day talking. That's after work. Eventually got married. I got orders for Turkey. Got canceled. Got orders for Gib. Went to Gib for a year, and I was having a lot of troubles coping, being alone because of my driving experience in Saudi Arabia. I would call her constantly. Got in financial trouble because obviously the long distance calls from Korea to Washington were extreme. But first time I told Justin the story, it took about 4 hours. So, sorry, I meant to do that at the beginning. I apologize. But anyway, got back from Korea, went to Fort Bragg. Supposed to go to 112th Signal Battalion. It's the signal battalion that supports all special operations military. Delta, Air Force parajumpers, Marine Recon, all Army Special Ops, everybody. Special Forces Command was over that battalion, saw that I was about to get out, asked if I would work in the office. I said, yeah, because I was about to get out. Anyway, went through all that, getting close to my time to re-enlist or get out, and my ex-wife said, if you want a child, you have to get out of the Army. I said, why? Explained because I was working too much and the risk for deployment was great. Went to my unit and they were having early outs after Saudi Arabia because too many people, and I did the early out, got paid about $20,000 out of the Army early. Went from there back to Washington State, where she's from. I couldn't find work except for in a department store or someplace like that. We were having troubles paying our bills. She decided to join the Army on her own a year later. Yeah, I grumbled and groaned about it because I got out. And went from there to her joining the Army, going to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Basically the same area where I had my basic training. We graduated. She was supposed to be a Russian linguist. She was sent to ELI, French Language Institute, Monterey, California. She started flirting with another guy there. became intimate. I did not know at the time. I went down there after she'd been there about a month and a half and started living with her again. Started having immediate problems. Our arguments before that would be about 2 to 3 hours. These started lasting about 2 to 3 days. Kept getting worse and worse. She would have parties with her classmates, do extreme heavy drinking. Yeah, I was involved. Eventually, she started flirting with another guy, being intimate with him. I unfortunately joined in on that. I said I had to do something, and I went and hid. But looking back, I should have gotten our truck, drove away, never came back. But I didn't. He eventually reconciled our differences to that time frame. We had our daughter, who graduates today, actually. She lives in Washington. Continued on while she was in the Army. She was having troubles passing her test, her physical training. Couldn't do it. She got put out of the Army, moved back to Washington. I eventually got a job with the phone company in Washington. Started working there. We continued our arguments. I had continually had troubles with traffic. They would have extreme heavy traffic from about 5 a.m. till 10 or 11 a.m. and from 4 p.m. till about 6 or 7. To drive 15 miles would take you about an hour and a half. Most people think that's not that bad, but you've had bad experiences driving in traffic. It would just make. She started to show signs of depression, becoming disconnected with everything around her and our daughter. I would be working 12 to 14-hour days trying to pay our bills. I kept trying to get her to get out and get a job, but she said no. All it would do is pay for daycare. That's arguable, but it would get her out. We had our problem. He was on alternative websites looking for people, I guess that's the best way to put it, where she had met a guy. She became intimate with him. I would come home after a 12 to 14 hour day, tired, dirty, walk in, and I would see my daughter sticking her head out her door, holding her fingers up like this. I always gave her 2 questions every night, which ended up to be about 22 questions. But we would sit there and talk after I took my shower and stuff, and her mom would finally come in, yell at me, she needs to go to sleep. Well, in that time period, my daughter asked what her mom and her friend were doing behind the locked door. And I asked her what she meant, and she told me it made sounds like they were being intimate. After I put her to bed, I asked her mom about it. Mom kept telling me, you can't tell me who to be friends with. And I said, yeah, that's right, I can't, but I can tell you not to be intimate. And she didn't like that. And I said, if it doesn't stop, please. She left, and we continued to go through the divorce proceedings, which took about 3 months. I ended up with custody and paid the child care costs plus our living expenses, no problem, out of my paycheck. Anyway, I was mad at everybody, everything. You would say hi to me, I would be mad at you, likely to cuss you out. The only person who could bring a smile to my face at that time was my daughter. She would say, hi, Dad. It instantly changed my mood. 2004, we were driving down a road in Federal Way, Washington, and I rear-ended the car in front of me. My vision was blurred. I didn't wear glasses at the time. It was like I had oil on my eyes. Went to an optometrist for the peripheral vision test, and I failed. He sent me to MRI and a neurologist. When I got to the neurology office, the neurologist interrupted the sign-in process and said, "Come back to my office." The receptionist said, "But we haven't completed the sign-in." He said, "We'll finish it later." Went back, and he asked me immediately. This is a Friday evening. He asked me immediately, "Can you be in for surgery tomorrow morning?" On a Saturday. Kind of dumbfounded, I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, you have hydrocephalus, which is water on you, kill you at any time." And I said, "Well, what is that?" He said, "This is your skull, your brain. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how yours is. Plus, you have a 4.5 centimeter tumor on your pineal gland, which is where your brain stem and your optical nerve, in other words, in the center of your brain." I said, "Well, I'll be here tomorrow." We went in for surgery the next day. I was told I was in there for 12 hours, placing the brain shunt, which worked semi-good at first. We had problems, but I could survive. Months later, I went in for the removal of the tumor, got my zipper on the back of my head. That's my scar. Went from there where I would sit in a daze, not really do anything, not knowing what time of day it is, lunchtime, dinner, midnight, whatever. My mom, concerned for my safety, decided to take me with her to Las Vegas. We were at Red Rock Canyon there walking along. I collapsed, and she, having medical training, had them call an ambulance. They took me to Summerlin Hospital in Las Vegas. They immediately found out that my shunt needed to be revised, replaced. I spent the next 8 months in the hospital there. My recovery after that was another 4 months. And I went through occupational, physical, speech, neuropsychology. Going through all that aspect is an eye-opening experience, because learning how to eat, walk again, really surprised how hard it is that the kids endure. Never realized it. Went through that aspect and recovered, went back to Washington, went back to my job, became a fiber optic splicer, which was one of my goals. Fiber optics is basically the size of a hair, crystal clear. You have to be very, very gentle with it. We immediately went to work, immediately started having trouble. Was able to stay there for a couple of years, and finally I had to quit because vision problems, my hand steady. As you can see right now, I'm shaking. I have muscle tremors, is what they call them. And holding a fiber steady is really important. You're splicing together. Vision is you're usually in a dark closet. Having to see fiber makes it really hard. You can't see very fine. Quit working there in Washington. Moved back here in 2007. Was still fine for a couple of years with those minor problems. My problems began in August 2009, where I started having really intense headaches, nauseous feelings. Decided to go back to the doctor when I sent my daughter to her visit on her mom in Christmas of that year. Right, took her to Chicago fine. Driving back from Chicago, I had a seizure, and I ran off the road in a meeting on 94. When I came I saw a semi pulled over several cars, got out of the car, stood up, fell on rocks in the middle of the, don't remember much after that. Just know I was in Bronson Hospital. A friend told me they'd wrap towels around my hands, stop me from beating up myself, having serious problems there. Nothing really happened. They put me in a medically induced coma to try to stop my body from having all these problems. When it kept continuing to get worse, they sent me to Cleveland Clinic, and Cleveland Clinic couldn't do anything. They finally declared me brain dead, but there was an experiment that was going on. They'd only given the experiment to one other person. I was the second. They gave me the medicine, nothing worked, so they assembled my family for last rites. Got my family all together, and they were about to pull the respirator out. When they did, I started breathing on my own immediately, and I told the medical staff, freaked out. Well, I was only breathing because of one thing. Peace. Anyway, when I came out of that state, they decided to send me to the VA Medical Center in Ann Arbor. On the way there, I can remember having conversations with ambulance staff driving to Ann Arbor, and them being amazed that I was talking. When I got to Ann Arbor, I don't really remember what happened at that for a while there. I kind of came to in July of 2010, and I was told I had the cognitive abilities of a 5-year-old. Nothing really good at the time. August 2010, they had me speaking to a psychology intern. Talking to her, I described how I was feeling. Crap, I needed to do something to get away. I didn't know how to do anything. I couldn't explain myself well enough so they would understand. So when I was feeling that way, this song that I'm going to show you, explaining how I was feeling.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me, the beast is ugly. I hate what I've become. The nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within. It's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I gotta lose control. It's something radical. I must confess that I feel like a monster. 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 I feel like a monster.
So we have a containment breach. We lost them. They're out in the open.
As you can see, that's essentially exactly what I felt I needed to escape the hospital. And it never really happened. After I got back from the psychiatric ward, the staff started asking me, when are you going to leave? And I kept telling them, I don't know. I just know I'm going to go home. Well, the physician's assistant that was in charge of the ward heard me say that to the guy, and she came into my room screaming and yelling at me, mad. And I looked at her and I said, I didn't say when, I just said I'm going home. I don't know when. That's up to you guys. Well, it eventually happened where she sent me home in November. Thankfully, my brother and sister-in-law found a small single-bedroom apartment studio here in downtown Coloma, and I live there happily. It's just me, and I don't have any problems. When I got out of the hospital, though, I didn't have any control over my money or driving around. I was stuck, and all I could do was walk around. My depression and anger got really large, and I was angry. I was seeing a counselor every other week, but she wanted me to see her every week. She kept telling me things to do to help alleviate my anger, but it always didn't work. My frustrations just grew. Finally, about June 2011, I got my checking account back. July, I got a car, and I could move around and I could see. A friend of mine who works for Blue Roof Church, St. Joe, asked me if I'd like to volunteer there a couple of days a week. I jumped at the chance. If I didn't do that, I don't think I'd be standing here today telling you. My problems have still continued to progress. I have had where they want me to go back in the hospital for surgery because my tumor is regrown. They've wanted me to go through radiation therapy. They've told me I have a couple of hernias, and they've told me I have what's called Cowden syndrome, which is a precursor to a whole bunch of different types of cancer. And obviously you can also see me shaking because of my muscle tremor. They continue to say there is likely something else wrong, but they don't know as of yet. And I keep asking them, well, if you don't know, then how can you say that? That's wrong. But anyway, they keep going that aspect. I still struggle with depression every day, and I continue to think about God. Unfortunately, I don't read my Bible as much as I should, but I do meditate on Him. And as you can see, I have my Bible near me all the time. I have it in my car. If I leave my home, I have it in my hand. If I'm walking around, it's near me. Most people think that's a little crazy. Yeah, it may be. But I always thanking God because I'm standing able to tell my story, able to let it known that I'm here. I have a couple of things that I meditate on when I'm frustrated. One is a picture. We can't see it very well, but it's a picture that was up there when I told you about my book. it's just a quiet, methodical thinking place where when I'm frustrated and angry, it just takes me away. The other is Christian rock. It's not great, it's not bad, it's just takes me away. I read, I play video games where I get destroyed. I do all sorts of different things like that. My hopes are it will eventually end and I won't have struggles, but I believe that the struggles are going to be a part of my life for the rest of it. As long as Jesus is beside me, I have no worry. I picture like the poster footprints, where the footprints are walking side by side, and then he picks me up and carries me for a while. Then he sees I'm able to stand on my own. He puts me back down, and we're walking side by side, over and over and over like that. Picturing that, it made me think of a statement called, that's one foot in front of the other, always moving forward. I keep continually putting that in my head. Even if it's a millimeter in front of the other, still moving forward. That's the way I see it. And last thing, I have one song that really connects with me, because I always want answers. I want to see what the reasoning is for everything. It does not affect my beliefs. It does not affect how I feel towards anything. I just want to see those answers. I want to know. People think I'm crazy. Not. And it's just, I guess the best way to say it is, it's just how I feel. I try not to question. The band's gonna sing this song, which what it is.
Bright As Doug mentioned, that song has huge impact and meaning in his life. As he looks and he kind of looks back on his life and he says, "Man, who am I that the God, the creator of the universe, would care about me, that he would love me?" And one of the things as I've gotten to know Doug that is just really encouraging. And I'm sure, as he was sharing it, it probably came across. But, as I listen to Doug's story, I feel like my circumstances, any issues, any problems that I've had in my life kind of pale in comparison. Maybe some of you would say that. Maybe some of you would say, no, my circumstances have been as extreme or more so or different or whatever. But the thing that I've seen just evidence in Doug's life that is so cool is that the God that he believes in is bigger than his circumstances. See, I think what happens sometimes, we get so caught up in our own circumstances, whether they're big or small in comparison, whether, but to us, they seem overwhelming, don't they? Regardless of whether we compare to our lives or our situation to other people. And for most of us, those circumstances kind of outshine or outglory the glory of God in our lives. And the thing that we can do is we can be reminded that the God that we serve, the God that's creator of the universe, that has invited us into a personal relationship with him, that God is bigger than anything we could go through. And yeah, our prayer, and we pray that God would just take that God would heal Doug, that God would, and for some of you, many of you, we pray that God would just heal or take away circumstances, but to be able to recognize whether or not that happens, that God is there, that whether or not we can see it in the moment, that when we can't walk, that he picks us up and carries us. I think it's awesome. The fact that Doug is here, alive and with us and able to share his story is evidence that God is not done. The fact that you're here this morning is evidence that God is not finished with you. And it's a God that's bigger than anything and everything that we could ever go through. And so my challenge, my encouragement to you, my question maybe to you is, how big is your God? Is your God bigger than your circumstances? The God that the Bible speaks about is so much bigger, is so much more powerful than anything we could go through. And so, Doug, thank you. Thank you for reminding us. I want to applaud Doug. I was going to say that, but absolutely. But when we applaud Doug, really what we're applauding is God working in Doug's life. And so that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. And Doug, I just encourage you guys, pray for Doug. His story is so unique. It's so just powerful that